Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian. Welcome back to Victoria 3, Sphere of Influence, as we're playing as Russia. So in today's episode we should start some conflicts. One thing I've been waiting on is to get this technology research, because again the Central Archives, getting that should enable us to fix our economic issues. We got a lot of tax waste, as you can see here with the unrealized taxes. And so that's a lot of money that we could be getting that we're not. And so getting that tech should fix that problem for us. Now it seems that France has just declared both us and Prussia as a rival. And then Prussia rivaled them as well. So that's the first rivalry that Prussia has set up. And therefore we're seeing that Prussia's now improving relations with us. So it seems that this political lobby had it in the right that Prussia is a friendship with them is in our best interest. We're going to wait to improve relations with them because it costs so much of our influence, and I want to continue working on that leverage generation at the moment. We got a couple events here. Credit where credit's due. So the recent investment in Moscow production at our textile mills has raised the question of who should get the credit for the boost in production. So we can credit the industrialists, that'll increase their hop attraction. Instead, we can get a credit to the trade unions, or focuses on someone else, which result in us losing approval with those two IGs, and instead the bourgeoisie will increase their attraction. Let's go and just credit the industrialists. That's fine. I don't want to irritate anybody at the moment. The second event is the concert interrupted, appalled by Great Britain's aggressive disruption of the concert of Europe. So I'm guessing they just declared war on somebody. The Orthodox Church has aligned themselves with the anti-British League. This is actually not a good development because we're not really working against the British right now, and I think they were part of the Russian-Prussian Association. I think they joined them last episode. And so overall this is not really what we wanted to see happen. But yeah, we'll have to go with this option here. We have just entered the new year of 1841. We can see that we have a lot more loyalists than we do radicals, so doing pretty good, keeping our people happy. I want to go ahead and start working on our military now because we constructed the two artillery factories, the artillery foundries. We had one, and then there was also one that was constructed with the private funds. And so artillery prices should be much lower now. Yeah, they're at plus 6%, so pretty low. And thus we're going to make a few adjustments with our military. Get ready for war. I don't know if we'll do the Ottoman War first. It seems like we might need to in order to appease this lobby demand. Because remember, we also have potential conflicts here. I suppose we could do them both at the same time. It would make sense since you already got your army raised up for one of them. Before we can go to war with anybody, we need to get our military prepared. So the military system, as I said last episode, has been changed drastically. So you can tell right away just how it looks different. There's a lot more customization and control over how your armies are set up. These are probably some of my favorite changes of the game, and this was in a free patch. This was not even part of Sphere of Influence. In fact, this was part of a patch, I think, last year. So let's go and take a look at this. This is the information page here. So we can see that this particular unit has 24 infantry, 5 artillery, and 13 cav. Now of that infantry, 24 of them are the line infantry, which are the most recent version that we have. So we don't need to upgrade any of the infantry. But of the 5 artillery battalions, only 2 of them are mobile artillery. The other 3 are the outdated cannon artillery. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade those. We'll see that that will require more artillery, which is the reason why I wanted to get that sorted out, our shortage there, before we did this. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade this unit because it's going to be our largest and main unit. I think as of right now it's the second largest, but we're going to be making some adjustments to it just so I can show you how this new military system works and all the things we can do with it. So we can just click this button to upgrade all of them, which is what we're going to go ahead and do. That'll take a bit of time. Take a look at our cav. We have 13 cav units, and we have a variety of different types here. Another thing different with the cavalry is that the most recent version, the Lancers, are not superior to the older ones in every single way. So obviously you're going to have the higher upkeep, but we'll see that while it has the highest offense of all the different units, the Lancers have an offense of 30, the defense is actually lower than the Dragoons. So 25 compared to 20. And also its morale loss is plus 6 compared to the plus 8 of these two units. However, it has a plus 5% morale loss. So that's something to consider as well. But it does have the plus 5% kill rate, so that's kind of a big deal. Combine that with the offense, we'll see that the Lancers are very much superior when we're doing any attacking. Since this is going to be our primary attacking army, we're going to change all of our units over to the Lancers. However, if this was a defensive force instead, we might want to use the Dragoons since they have that higher defense rating, and they're going to cost a lot less in upkeep. Overall, the UI is so much better here. It's easier to use. It's easier to see the information that's available to you. We can also click any of these units here to take a look at them specifically. So let's say you only wanted to change, I don't know, one of these units into Lancers and you didn't want to change them all. We could do that through here as well. There's also the new mobilization settings. So you could do that for each army through here. So you have different options now. So basically you can invest more goods. That's basically you're investing more money into improving the stats of this particular army. So we can go from basic supplies to extra supplies, which are going to cost all these extra goods here. And most of them are percentage modifiers on the goods that the unit is already using. And that would increase the offense and defense by 10% and also result in 5% less morale loss. There are other options as well, so you can give them some different types of tasty snacks to improve their morale recovery. This is something we'll probably do for some of our conflicts, particularly with the sugar. We have plenty of that, and liquor. You got to give the Russian troops some liquor, and I think liquor is also pretty cheap in our country at the moment, so it would certainly be worth it for the morale recovery. We got a lot of different options here. Now, some of these were in the game before, like reconnaissance, but they were production methods for the building that the unit was based out of. But this is just far, far superior than the way they had done it. These were also in there as production methods like machine gunners, flamethrowers. So I really like this system. However, this is not really the best way to do it, unless you're really just wanting to do it in this screen because you're already looking at the units. I'll show you guys a better way to do it. In fact, we can go ahead and look at that now. That's in the military setting under mobilization. So in here you can see and adjust all of your armies rather than just the one. And honestly, I think it looks a lot better. You don't have to open a different tab for every one of these. You can just press a button and you can visualize it a lot easier as well. So I think this is the better option for adjusting the mobilization settings. Let's go back into this unit here. We looked at the mobilization. Here's the buildings that those units are based out of. That system hasn't changed. The building system is still the core of Victoria 3, including the military. They just kind of changed the way this is visualized and the way it's organized. And we can also see all the modifiers that are currently affecting this particular army. Another fun element of this rework is you can now customize the units. So you can change their name up. Let's just say we wanted to call this the Imperial Guard. All the names are in Russian. I know some people like when you leave them in the Russian names, but I can't read those despite the fact that yes, my father was Russian. I never knew my father and I had very little interactions with that side of the family, so I didn't learn the language. So we're gonna put it in English. So we got the Imperial Guard here, and then there's not really any emblem or flag pattern that matches the unique emblem for the Russian Imperial Guard. However, their armed forces often use the double-headed eagle, and this is an eagle, so we'll use that. We can also change the flag color. I really like the white and black for this particular unit, so we're going to leave it as is. I don't really like the color selection, honestly. Some of them are okay, like this one's alright. The blue's okay. I like the orange. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of the color palette here. We're going to use the white and black. I did change some of our other armies up and they're using different colors. I'll show you guys those after we finish with this army. We can also change the what the unit names are based on. So culture or state, we'll leave it as culture. Let's go and confirm those changes. Now we're going to increase the size of this army. It's currently sitting at 42 battalions. We'll bring it up to 50. And there's two ways we can do that. We can either build new units or we can move units for another army, and we'll actually do a variety of both of those to get them up to the correct number. Maybe we'll build 4 units because I think we're sitting at 206. I don't like that weird number, so we're going to move to 210 battalions for our total, for our country. So we will build 4 new units and then we'll move 4 from another army, and we'll be moving them from this one here because I believe this guy is an opium addict. Yeah, so he doesn't really need 45 units. So we'll take one of his line infantry, and then we'll take both of his mobile artillery, just leaving him the 6 outdated cannon artillery. And then we'll take both of his lancers, or we'll just take one. So that'll be 4 units that we moved from here, and then we'll still need to construct 4 more. We're gonna leave him with the 25 infantry, but we're gonna get the artillery up to 10. So let's go and construct 3 more of the mobile artillery. We'll put 2 here in the capital, and then I guess we'll get 1 more in Novgorod. And then we'll also need 1 additional cav unit to get them up to the 50, and we'll build that lancer probably just in Novgorod. That'll take them time to get the barracks constructed. We might want to move those up to the top actually, prioritize it over the iron mines. Maybe we'll let them finish this one here. Yeah, then they'll have to get those trained as well. The units that moved between the 2 different armies, those normally do take time now. You'll see them move on the map. However, both of these armies are in the same location, so it isn't an issue in this particular case. Same thing with moving your commanders here. Let's say we wanted to switch these 2 commanders. We could do that, or even have them both over here in this army. That would be an option. And it would take time for those commanders to move if they were not in the same location. So now we need to prioritize those barracks, because I did forget again to put them at the top when I clicked on them. We'll let the mines finish their construction, since those are about halfway done. Let all those units move around. One thing I did neglect to do is make sure that we have more infantry than we do cav and artillery. Let's see, I gave them 10 artillery and 15 cav, and they had 25 infantry, so that's actually going to be an issue. We'll have to fix that. Yeah, we'll fix that in a minute. Let me take a look at what this event is: Infertile Grounds. Finding both the Russian public and supposed political allies unreceptive to his ideas, frustrated, Yevgeny Voroshilov has decided to retire from the realm of politics, opting instead to spend the rest of his days penning embittered reflections on what could have been. So he's an agitator for the national militia law, which we don't actually want that law. We say let him peddle his ideas in peace away from St. Petersburg. This will result in us getting an interest group pop attraction for the Gentry Assembly, which remember they're the only ones in our government. Because Yevgeny would retire from politics and settle domestically. Instead, we can politely inform him his presence is unwanted in Russia. He'll be exiled. That will upset the Gentry Assembly. Or we say this man just needs a little nudge to get him back in the game. This is if you're wanting to make use of him, because that'll increase his popularity by bankrolling him. So it will cost us 4,700. So we're going to do this one, increase the pop attraction for our government IG. So just letting our army get itself sorted out. So fantastic news, we just got our first mandate. We saw that was going to be happening soon, and so now we can either improve one of the 2 principles that we have or add a new one. These are all the different options. Let's kind of show you what you'd get at the end of these. And so we can get a possibility of 2 more of these. And so we'll have to figure out which ones we want. These are of course just the 3rd ones, so you got to upgrade it 3 times to get the full bonuses here. Well, I want to let you guys see them quickly. You can pause so you can read it, and let me know which 2 you think we should eventually get. Because with our first mandate, we're going to be improving the vassalization one, so that we can get the plus 25% income transfer from subjects. That'll be really helpful. So let's go ahead and do that. So you'll note that our cohesion is perfect at 100, and thus because we have that orchestrated bonus plus 25%, we're getting the mandates quicker. And so that's one of the benefits of having the higher cohesion. Now our power block rank has dropped. We're now 4, where before I think we were number 2. And that's because France has created a new power block and Prussia has surpassed us. So that's unfortunate. We're now number 4. Let's go back to our military. I did need to make that one adjustment here. We're not currently getting any notification about our organization being disrupted due to the artillery and cav being equal with the infantry, and that's because they're still constructing the barracks for that one cav unit. So yeah, let's go ahead and make this adjustment now since we know it's going to be a problem, and we'll just trade one of our lancers over to this guy for one of his line infantry, and hopefully that doesn't mess him up at all. I'm not going to count those up right now, we'll confirm that later. So I was going to get that changed so that we can make sure we're not getting a hit to our organization. Another thing I didn't do is show you the other units that I changed up here. We have the Army of Siberia, so that is stationed right here. I didn't change the actual icon, I just changed up the color and their name here, and they are also already stationed at that location, and I gave them an additional unit. And then there's the Army of the West, which is stationed in Poland, and I did change both their icon and their color up. So we're using some different colors, though I will be honest, I kind of like the white and black one the best. I also changed up the commander, not of the Army of the West, but the Army of Siberia. He's innovative and a mountain combat expert. And so yeah, I went ahead and changed him up so we'd have a better commander there, because I think that guy's pretty solid, so I moved him from another unit. Alright, so we're just letting that unit move, and then we'll probably start the conflict with the Ottomans first, because we got 6 years to deal with this, while this one here is just a little over 2 years. We're also sorting out our iron issues. Just take a look and see how the market price is. So tools are still a bit high, but iron is doing pretty good, and we'll just continue to improve that. Artillery is also pretty solid. So next we'll want to deal with the tools, which we already have 2 of these being constructed. In fact, this might have been a little bit of an overcorrection on the iron. It might end up getting too cheap, but if it does, we'll just trade it off. I'm sure there's many markets that could use some more iron. So we finally got the Central Archives. That means we can now go to war. We got that 25 taxation capacity, and then also we can increase the Home Affairs Institution if we had it. But most importantly, we got the standardized filing system, and so that's really where we're going to get a lot of our money from, because we're going to be able to improve our bureaucracy. First, we'll want to get a new technology selected. We're probably going to stay with the society text for now, while there would be some pretty useful ones here in the production technologies. We're going to wait. Same thing with the military ones. I know we're about to start doing some wars, so it would be useful to get a few of these. What I really like about the society text is that they give you passive bonuses, which you often don't have to, construct anything or get any new goods. This one would be pretty helpful because we have some infrastructure issues in some of our states. However, there's still 2 level 1 techs that we haven't gotten yet, and this one's already partially researched due to the technology spread, and so we can get it in 9 to 14 months. That's plus 10% to minting and negative 2% loan interest rate, which we might end up taking some loans here in these conflicts. Our gold reserves are looking kind of low, and so yeah, that would be really helpful. It'd easily pay itself off getting this here in just about a year. All right, so let's gonna get that production method changed up in our government administration buildings. This will require a lot more paper, so might have to get that solved, but look at how much bureaucracy we're gonna get and extra taxation capacity. And so that immediately improves our economic troubles. We also might want to get a few things constructing just based on our trade goods here. We'll wait to see how that affects paper. I assume it's going to get pretty expensive, so wait to make any adjustments there. The next thing I want to do is take a look at how we're doing here. So we were able to get them loyal. All right, excellent. But these 2 are still aloof, although that's better than it was. But with them being loyal, we should now be able to get them to agree to reduce their autonomy. All right, so that's excellent. So with that done, we do need to have them accept it. We also just completed the Central Archives journal entry, since we changed up that production method. With that done, the next adjustment would bring them down to a puppet. But again, we're not going to do that just yet. We're not going to mess with any of these, although their liberty desire is getting pretty low. But yeah, we're going to wait to deal with them until after we deal with the Ottomans. Just make sure we can't improve relations with them any further. We'll take a look at this event, filing cabinets. The use of filing cabinets in the government administration has drastically increased the effectiveness of state bureaucracy. So we can get a plus 5% to bureaucracy, which we really could use it because we're still a little bit short here, guys. So thus we're getting some taxways and not getting as much money from our dividends. That's another thing that has changed since the last time we played. The governments will actually get dividends based on the buildings they own. We'll have to take a look at the new building ownership system. That's something that was added in that recent patch from June. We haven't seen it just yet. Our other option would be to get some progress on the identification documents technology. We're actually going to do this since that would put us on the positive, although we can now start building some of these government administration buildings since they're now actually worth it. We still have a lot of taxation capacity we're not meeting here, but each of these is going to produce a bit more than it was. I think it was producing 10 and now it's giving us 15, so it's a little bit more helpful. But I think what's most important is that we're no longer short on the bureaucracy, and overall we're just getting better taxation capacity than we were. What we can do is construct a few of these. So I think this should be good for now. It's going to be a lot of our money, paying for that. We're also going to get a couple more universities. We're not researching very fast. So let's get one here and we'll get 2 more in Moscow. We could be constructing a little bit faster, so we'll get another construction sector as well. Just build one of those and we'll want to make sure we take that up to the top again. You guys know I'm doing terrible with this. In fact, we're going to prioritize, because I really want to get this research done. We're going to prioritize those universities as well. We'll let them finish up that iron mine since it's going to be done in just 8 weeks here. And I suppose we can move these other ones down to the bottom since they're not really a priority. And we want to make sure we get that tooling workshop. We will prioritize this though, just so we can get that done so we can use it for further construction. And then let me take a look at the markets, see other goods, how we're doing, particularly with the paper. Yeah, we knew that was going to be an issue. There's not much here we need to worry about right now. We've already looked at wine, and there isn't much we can do. I suppose we could sell to Greece, just 5. Maybe then it will adjust in the future. Doesn't cost too much bureaucracy, so I guess we'll do that. So I think it's just the paper that we need to deal with right now. It's 45% cost, which we're the main ones buying that, so we definitely want to reduce that price. So let's go into our production lens in the industry so we can get some paper mills constructed. And because we're the ones constructing these, the state is, we will own these and we'll earn the dividends from it. And that's all something I'd like to take a look at. We could look at where we'll get the most from this, because Moscow would actually be the best location. So yeah, let's go ahead and build it up there. Make use of some of those job seekers that we now have. And it seems it's still the cheapest, so let's put 5 of these here. How many are each going to produce? There's going to be 40 a piece. Okay, so let me just take a look and see how short we are currently. That'll be good for our current shortage, but wouldn't solve the problem once we build some of these government administration buildings. So I moved a few of these around just so that we slowly get those constructed. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Maybe wait a little month for the economy kind of sort itself out a little bit here, earn a little bit of money, build up our gold reserves, and then we're going to start a conflict up with the Ottoman Empire, which maybe we won't have to go to war. You never know, maybe they'll agree to whatever demand we make. It really depends on what type of demand we make. Another event about the defections. So we can tighten up security, which is what we're going to do, because remember, we don't want to reduce the armed forces approval rate, though we might be able to do that and still be all right. I got a couple events here. A newspaper has printed a bigoted article about the Siberian people. So we can suppress this article or we can let it be released. If we suppress it, it'll cost us some authority. Ignore it and decrease the standard of living for the Siberian hops there. I think the Tsar would probably just ignore that. Action and reaction. So basically the trade unions have joined the Anti-Ottoman Association. I think we can stop that by tempering their rage if we wanted to, but we do not. It would increase their approval at the cost of some relations with the Ottomans. I'm actually fine with them joining that association since that would boost their opinion when we do this demand on them. So let's go ahead and do that now. I think we waited long enough. We could let it go into the new year, I suppose. So it's January 1st, 1842. You see that they're openly hostile to us, as you'd expect, considering the fact that we're rivals and we're currently embargoing them. So these are the demands we could make. We could just try and humiliate them, or we could make one that targets a state. So we could try and take one of these two states on our borders. So there's this one here. Let's take a look at what buildings they currently have. Some logging camps, fishing wharves, wheat farms. Not much here. The current population is 235,000. And then the other option is cars here, where we actually own one little part of it. So a lot less population. It's got some tea plantations, so I guess there's that. So trying to take either of these or both of them would be an option. We just take a look and see how expensive that would be when it comes to infamy. It's going to cost 11 just for that one state there. The other state would cost 9.5 infamy. So we took both of them, going to be around 20 something infamy. The other option would be Moldavia to do the transfer subject here. They would not accept, but they might accept once it goes into conflict, and this would be 12 infamy. And that also is just getting you one state. Of course, they'll be a subject rather than directly owning it. And this is what they currently have, so a bit more impressive than those other two states. Basically because they're a vassal and they're building up a little bit of territory that they have. We could try and do a combination of those, because what I really want is Moldavia here. They could make our borders look better. And we just want to bring them into our empire. So let's go ahead and do that one. Again, they won't accept this. Let's go and send it off. We can see that everybody's undecided right now, and the British are not going to get involved, so that's good. There is Austria and France here. Hopefully they will stay neutral. We really need to boost the opinion with Austria. I know we decided not to do that for the influence. Let's go ahead and work on it just a little bit. So hopefully they'll stay neutral in this. They refused our demand as expected, and so now we have a diplomatic play. So we can try and sway any other countries. It seems that Austria is leaning towards siding with us. Having them in the conflict would be really helpful, and they do have a preference for supporting us over staying neutral. They might join on their own, or we can try and sway them, give them obligation, see what war goals they're interested in. A regime change or ban slavery. That'd be an easy one for us to do and have no problem with it. So maybe we'll do that. We'll see if they join on their own, particularly once we add another war goal. They could end up having some issues with this, and you might sway them and then they just leave anyways. Because we're going to add one more war goal, not get too demanding here, because we don't want the infamy first of all. And secondly, because I want to make sure that other great powers don't join. Which the more we add on here, the more likely the other countries will want to get involved. So we'll let this build up just a little bit, see if Austria decides to join on their own, or if anybody else gets involved. They're just looking to humiliate us and do a regime change in the Baltic. So most countries have decided to stay neutral. Austria has not joined. So let's go ahead and add a war goal on here for the ban slavery in the Ottoman Empire. We could also do the Moldavia one, and this would actually be better because the Ottomans aren't giving anything up. So it wouldn't impact their choice to stay in the war, I don't think. So we'll see if they'll accept that sway offer. And they did. All right, excellent. I mean, I said they would. So I expected. And we see that we're already having some mobilization happening, particularly on the Ottoman side. So let's go ahead and mobilize our own troops. It seems that it is going to, in fact, break out into conflict. So we're going to mobilize the Imperial Guard. That's going to be our main army. And then maybe also the Army of the West, which is 25 units. We'll mobilize them too. So that'll be a total of 75 units with Austria's help. That should hopefully be enough, because it seems like they're mobilizing quite a bit, and that's one of the advantages of bringing Austria into this conflict. is we don't have to mobilize as many troops. And once these are mobilized, which are currently at 66% and 95%, we want to get them moving over to the fronts. Looks like we're just going to have one front here. Yeah, it seems to be just one combined front, at least at the moment. Alright, we did discover more gold. Excellent. These guys are 94% of the way done. They're 99. Alright, so let's go and move the Army of the West over to this front. And then we'll also want to move the Imperial Guard once they're fully mobilized. And I think they're both on the advance order. Might put one of them on defense. Why are these guys stuck here? Oh, there we go. And the war has broken out. Alright, excellent. And it seems that the front is currently exposed. Yeah, this is all one front, by the way. There's also this front over here. And our lobby demand was complete as well. So that'll keep the lobby happy, which I'm not entirely sure who is all in that lobby now. So we got the trade unions and the armed forces. So they're incredibly loyal. And the trade unions are happy. So that'll get us this bonus here, the industrial organizers. Well, it seems that the trade unions are marginalized. They're not powerful enough to give us any bonuses, but if they did, it would have improved our manufacturing industries. But this is interesting here. There was an aristocratic revolt in the Ottoman Empire. So we're fighting that as well. Oh, that's like almost the entire country. Okay, that's very strange. And it seems that that has in fact split the front. Okay, so we have one army that's already moving over there. That's the Army of the West. So hopefully they'll stay over there. Let me just take a look at the Imperial Guard. I think they're on this front. Now, we are outmanned on this front. I think that's because the army hasn't got over there. Yeah, they're right here. And the Austrians haven't arrived yet either. I think they should be sending quite a few units. So we're just waiting for all of our armies to get to the front. I think I mobilized a little later than I should have. We also need to put the fleet out. I just wanted to get the troops to the front so we could see how we're looking. Alright, so we have the 79% advantage over here. And over here we have a 1% advantage. So they sent quite a few units. So what we might want to do is just defend on this particular front. That is the war goal, so we are going to want to take it over, but we'll have to send some additional troops before we can do that. So let's go ahead and set them up to defend. And then over here we'll leave our commander on the advance. We also need to send out our fleet. So we have 3 fleets. The one in the east is just one ship. Then we have the Baltic fleet, which this one has an issue. So just like with the land units, where you need to have more infantry than the support cavalry and artillery units, same deal with these fleets here. You need to have more light ships than you do capital ships, and that's not the case with the Baltic fleet. They have a lot of capital ships. So we need to construct more light ships. Wasn't really a priority, that's why we haven't done that yet. This fleet here is fine, and that's the one we would be using in this area. So let's go ahead and send them to this sea node. So they're going to be operating out of the Black Sea. I didn't look at this admiral yet, so you can see his traits. He's an explorer, naval commander, so getting those offensive defense bonuses. He's popular, and he's persistent. So not a bad admiral. Unfortunately, he's a bit old, so probably won't be able to serve us long. As for the order, we'll probably just leave him on interception. But a few different options than what there was before. So you have this coordinated interception. You know, you had these ones here, but you can also organize a merchant convoy. And then there's some additional orders that we can't select for various reasons, either because we're lacking certain traits or lacking certain types of ships. So he'll go out there and try and engage any Ottoman ships in the Black Sea. I assume they won't be out there. They'll probably be operating, yeah, over here. So we won't likely see any issues here. We could also try raiding them, because you see they're moving troops out here. So we could instead set them to raid convoys. And that'll mess with their supply. Remember, this is Victoria 3 still, despite the changes to... Oh, there's another conflict over here. But despite the changes to the war system, Yeah, we're going to declare neutrality. It's still Victoria 3, so it's very hands-off. And I guess we can take a look at the situation here. So Austria has decided to support the Ottoman aristocratic revolt. I'm not entirely sure how that would work since they're currently at war with them, aren't they? I mean, we got pulled into this conflict with them. I assume they did as well. Might have to check on that because they wouldn't be helping us if they hadn't been pulled in. I'm not sure how they're going to be helping them and be at war with them. So yeah, we'll take a look at Austria in a minute, but basically the differences here are really their strategic desire. You can see that down below. And what their laws are going to be. It doesn't really matter to us. Yeah, they want to stay neutral to us. Well, they want to antagonize us. I guess there is that difference. But really, I don't care. We're not going to get involved in this at all, guys. We're just trying to get our war goal here. And the fact that there's a civil war here is going to make it even easier because the Ottomans are going to be fighting, you know, their own aristocrats. So yeah, they are in the conflict still. I didn't think they got pulled out, but I just wanted to confirm that because it's kind of weird that they're going to like help them in a war while being at war with them. But yeah, we're not gonna pick a side here, guys, because I don't really care. Despite the mobilization of our army, we are in the positive, so that's great. Still a little short on bureaucracy, but remember we got 3 pages of stuff being instructed. Currently working on those universities. Then we'll be doing those paper mills, the tooling workshops, and all those will help our economy out as well, and help our government finances. And then the government administrations will cost us. So Austria has been swayed. They are going to support the aristocratic revolts. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I hope they don't get pulled out of the conflict. We can take a look and see how these battles are going. So we're winning this one. We have much higher offense than their defense. Take a look at the current dead here. It's doing pretty good in that regard. And it seems Moldavia has already been conquered. Okay, so we achieved victory there. Excellent. Let's take a look and see how things are going on this front. Seems our Baltic vassals doing pretty good. We're also sinking those enemy convoys. So that's great news. Maybe they'll send their fleet here to contend with us to stop our efforts in sinking their convoys. So that'll impact them negatively. So we got another victory here. So yeah, we'll just stay on defense on this front since we don't have as good of an advantage, and we're just going to allow our allies and our vassals to take the heavier losses. They'll still use our troops on their attacks, so there is that. So I guess one thing to consider is we'd want our general to be used. Although he's not the one that's good in the mountains. Maybe I should have sent the Siberian commander down here. But yeah, very good advantage on this front. So we should easily advance. We vastly outnumber them. I didn't even know that Great Britain and France were at war with each other. Alright, so unfortunately we do have to pause it here in August of 1842, right in the middle of our conflict, because we do need to end this episode. I'm going to wait to have this diplomatic play break out, because I don't know what's going to happen. I suppose we can let it play. So that will complete, and then we'll end the video. So we'll see what kind of a mess this will make. Because again, I'm not sure what happens with them supporting them in a war while being at war with them. Okay, I understand the situation now. Austria was not at war with them. I was wondering how they were even able to join the conflict on their side if they were at war with them. That didn't make any sense. I thought it was a bug. But they are only in this war against the Ottoman Empire. So that's the reason why they're able to support the Ottoman aristocratic revolt. If we looked at our own country here, then you'll see that we're in 2 separate wars. So one against the Ottoman Empire and one against the Ottoman aristocratic revolt. And so yeah, these are 2 very different conflicts, and one of which we do not have the help of the Austrians. So just taking a look at the casualties so far. So we've taken 17,000 dead, 9.10 thousand wounded, while the Ottomans have 25.8 thousand dead and 32.8 thousand wounded. Let me show you guys the details so you can see that it's only about 4,000 something of the dead that are ours. And looks like 1.7 thousand of the wounded. Let's go and look at the other conflict. See how things are going there. Much more similar numbers. And you'll see that Austria is not involved here, but many of our vassals are. And so only 2,000 dead, mostly from attrition, and none from battles. And we don't have any wounded here either. So we're not really too much involved in this particular one, probably because we're not advancing on this front. And we have to get through all this territory here that is Ottoman territory and their vassals. And that's where we're fighting the Ottomans, and that's where Austria is currently helping us. But until we advance through here, we can't fight the Ottomans any further. So kind of a weird situation. You see the Ottomans' war support is already getting kind of low. We have higher war support than the Ottoman aristocratic revolt. But yeah, we might have to mobilize some more troops, guys. So I had initially thought this civil war was going to be a good thing for us, but it's actually a bad thing, since we're not getting the assistance of our friends, the Austrians here. And so we're going to have to defeat the Ottoman aristocratic revolt on our own. Now, they are going to be distracted fighting the Ottoman Empire over here, but like, how powerful could they be? They didn't really get very many states. I guess there's this state as well in Eastern Thrace, but they can't possibly have very many troops. Let's just take a look. So they have 30 battalions if you're not counting the conscripts. So of the standing army, they have just 30. Compared to the 132 that the revolt has. That makes sense, the aristocrats control the army. So basically this civil war was an unfortunate negative occurrence here. We can stop boosting opinion with the Austrians in order to do something I've been meaning to do this whole episode. I kept forgetting, so we'll do it right before we end it here. I want to go ahead and form a defensive pact with the Greeks because we're not getting any more leverage with them. The guaranteeing independence is not enough. So if we do the defensive pact, then that will boost our leverage gain. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I assume they'll agree to it. Yeah, got that defensive pact. It did say they'd agree, so I'm not really assuming. We know that they'd agree to it. That will allow us to continue to build up our leverage on the Greeks. You can see that our vassal here has now changed their color over to ours. Since they are a closer subject, they're a dominion rather than just a protectorate. We could take a look and see if they become loyal yet. No, they're just aloof. So we're probably going to have to do this differently with them. Most likely a conflict, guys. Yeah, I assume we'll have to do it through a war. That's fine. We'll do all that in the next episode as we continue this war against the Ottomans and their, two different factions here. We'll likely have to mobilize some additional troops to send them to the front since we no longer have the Austrians helping us out against the bulk of the Ottoman army. So mobilize maybe one more army. I think that should be enough. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.